Welcome to part 7 of the custom code with Bubble series. Now, till last video we have seen that all the things are basically working just fine, but preview is not working. For example, if I show you my published plugin, this is the preview is showing, and if I change it to 4 to let's say 6 or something, it dynamically changes in the editor itself. And if I change anything, it will show me a preview of what it will look in the real browser in run mode. Now this is very important, for quickly edit your stuff. So to quickly check if how much gap is we are adding and if it is working or not, or eventually this gives user a more responsive way of seeing that how these things are looking in a browser. Before change something and preview stuff, we can change our stuff here. We can see that how it looks, and we then after that we can final preview it as well. So in this video we will see how we can make our preview like this from this. So let's see. First of all, let's come into the plugin editor. So come here in the preview function, which we did not implement anything, that is why it is not showing. Now let's read it. Basically it gives you two values, instance and properties. So you don't have context, and we don't need context here as well. So instance, so basically whichever you write here will be used to show the plugin preview. It will not used in preview mode. It will not run here. The preview mode only restricted to the edit mode. So let's see. So basically it will giving you the instance and properties. So inside instance you have canvas, you have is responsive. So we only need the canvas one, and we have this property that we already seen in the update function as well. So basically this preview function will be similar to update function, just a little tweak, to not add event listeners inside here, because we just want a simple preview. We don't want to type anything into it or something like that. That is why we don't need to add event listener or something. So let's implement it in locally first, then we will see that how we can put the code here and test here later. So this is our code from the last video. I added, this is the last one. Okay, so first of all, go to the index.html file, and I'm commenting it out because this JavaScript will not run. Save it. Plus the style.css will also not run from here. Before doing that, I can see view page source, and I can click the style.css and just copy the link in my locally. I just paste it in my locally just as a comment, so that I can use this link later. Okay, so now this is the CSS link. Now I have to remove this style.css import here. I am just commenting it out because we can't add CSS. The style.css will not apply it when we are running the preview button. This is a restriction. Maybe Bubble later allow it to run these styles. So basically whatever we put here will not run in preview mode. Okay, the style will not apply it in preview mode. So we have to dynamically add this inside the page. So let's see how we can do that. So come here, OTP input, and then now nothing will work because these scripts are not adding it. So let me create a preview.html, a preview.js file where we will add the JavaScript code. So just copy it, and here it will be const preview is equal to the function name, and we'll call the preview with instance and properties. That's it. Now I will include this script preview.js. Okay, so that is done. Now let's see. First we have to add the input. So I want to just copy this update function. Basically this whole will be run. So let me just copy it, the whole update function, inside preview.js. Okay, so now let's see. First of all, we are clearing the inner HTML, which is correct, because this preview function will be run when we change any data inside the custom editor. So for example, if I change this no to yes, this preview function will run again. So that is why we have to clear the other input that I already told in the previous video. Now we have to set this data, that is totally fine. We have to add this data so that the style.css will work with this data. Font family, these things already works, nothing to complain about it. And later we have to add the character count input. So input type disabled append child, this also will work. And now comes into this part. So basically we don't need to input or element.focus, because this is just an input. We don't need to autofocus stuff in our edit mode. So this is only required for run mode. So I am removing it. Secondly, it is just a preview, so we don't need to add event listener, because we don't want to type something. This is just a preview, so I am removing it. Similarly, I am removing it. Now we have the empty for each, so we don't need the for each and this function as well. Okay, so now if I save it, let's see if some error are coming or not. Reference error, instance is not defined. Okay, so in init.js we have this data which we don't have here, so that is why it is giving error. Let me just cut it and paste it in index.html here, for example, script, and if I paste here, it will work. So it is adding the input element. Nothing will work because we will not we will not autofocus it, or we will not add any data into it. It is just a preview. Now styles are not imported, and as I already told, the style.css will not automatically imported from this place. This will not run, so that is why we have to import it manually. So for example, I taken the CSS file link, okay, from the view page source option. So now we have this. Now we have to dynamically append this data inside here. So first of all, this is auto applied by Bubble, so I am just cutting it and adding it inside index.html itself, because we don't need to append this manually. This will automatically added by Bubble, so we don't need to do anything. This is just for replicating in local environment. So now this is the style.css file which we have to append in the document manually via JavaScript. So open the preview.js, and now after clearing all the things, we have to add the canvas link. So let's create the link. So for example, here I can create the link. So after adding all the styles, I can add it here. So basically what we have to do is instance.canvas, or first of all let's create the link. So const link is equal to document.create element, and we will add the link document. So this is similar to these things. Link we will create, then we will add the relation style sheet, then we will add the href this link, and then it should work. So create element is done. Now we have to do link.relation is equal to style sheet, then we have to do link.href is equal to this link. Basically copy it and paste it here. Now we have to append it into the head. So document.head.append child to link. So if I save it, then now you can see that all the things are now applying it. Styles are now applied. Now if I go to the head element, now you can see that this link element is added. I did document.head.append child, not document.instance, because I want the style loaded in the head element, header portion of the element. Now these are not required now. just a second, these are not record. If I refresh it, then you can see that this link is now working. This is working from here. That is perfectly fine. It is working. Now one issue will be that you see that in my editor, if I open the published one, you can see that A is filled up. So like A is filled up, and last one is kind of looking like a focused element. So this is like a preview that the user can see, okay, if this A is if we are selecting the text, now the text will be look like this. If we don't add this A tag, it will still work, but user will not know that this works or not. For example, if I bold it, then how it will look. If I increase the font size, then how it will look. User have no idea how it will look. So that is why I will add this A, or if I change it to number, then it will show 1. If I change it to password, then it will show dot. So that's how user will know that, okay, this is how it will look. And then last one is the focus element. That is why they see that, okay, if I change it like little darker, then it will show like this. So that is why I'm adding this. All things are working. And then if I select is disabled is true, then they will see that, okay, if I change it little darker, then how much it will look like. So that is why I am adding these stuff. So let's build it, how we can do that. So come here. Now similarly, what we have to do is basically we have to add the value. So basically we have to add input dot value is equal to A. Now it will look like, it will show A. Now we don't want A to be filled in last element, so that is why we have to do like this way. Just a second. We can do if index is less than car count minus 1. So that means if there's 4 element, that means if index is less than 4 minus 1 3, that means index will run for index is equal to 0. It will run, index starts from 0 as I already told. For 0 it will work because 0 is less than is equal to 3. For 1 it will work because 1 less than is equal to 3. For 2 it will work because 2 less than is equal to 3. But for 3 it will not work, okay, because 3 is not equal to 3. So that is why for first 3 element it will add the A, but for last element it will not add. So let's do here, just move this here. If I save it, okay, I guess some error are there inside console. So index is not defined. Now we say it as a I, not index. So let's do say I instead of index. Now car count we have inside properties, but it is showing car count is not defined. Let's just refresh it. Did I mistake anything? Let me see that. Inside properties we have car count. What happens? Let's console log it. Why character count is giving error? Let's debug it. So let's just console log the properties, and let's see that what is the value of properties. So we have character counts, but here it is showing car count is not defined. Okay, so because I did a character count, not properties, it will be properties dot character count. Sorry for that. Now that is how we debug stuff, right, from console. Now it is working. That is also fine, but for last element we want to do the focus stuff. So for that I can just change the BG color and border color. Now we can do input dot focus, but that will not we want, because focus this stuff, it is just for preview. We don't want to focus anything, because then suppose let's say user do something other thing in bubble editor, it will move the focus here, which we don't want. So instead of focus, what we can do is we can set the input style dot set property, and we can set BG color to properties dot focus BG color. So now it will add the focus. Now similarly I can add the border color to focus border color. Now this will not run in preview mode, that is why I can add this stuff and it will not affect the preview mode. Now it is done. Now there is not any element here, that is why I'm not adding any font size here, because font will be not available in the last element. That is why I'm not adding the I'm not overriding the focus font color. Okay, so that is fine, that is working. Now one more thing is that if the properties dot if properties dot input type is number, then we want to add 1, something like that. So what we can do is we can write like this way: properties dot input type is equal to text, then a, otherwise let's say 1. So what this says, this is called ternary operator in JavaScript. So if properties dot input type is text, then a will be shown, otherwise 1 will be shown. So let's change it and verify it. So text, that is why a is shown, which is correctly working. If I change it to number, now 1 is shown. Now if I change it to password, then also 1 will be shown, but because this is a type of password, that's why dot will be shown. So it is fine if we show a or 1, that doesn't matter, dot will be shown, so which is we want. So now change it to text again, a will be show again. Okay, you see that after refresh this will not show here, but this will flicker, sometime it will flicker and it will more visible into the bubble editor. Let me show you how we can fix it. Now before doing that, if we put this update, if we put this preview code, it will not work. Okay, why? Let me show you. First I just copy paste it inside bubble editor and just preview it. It will not work because the CSS file link that we added, it is local CSS file link that has localhost. So let's see what is so. It is showing like it is adding the a element. Let's change it to 4, but it is styles are not applied it. So I am deleting this. Styles are not being applied, but JavaScript logic is working. Now this is not working because here we added the style.css as a localhost. This is 127.0.0.1 is localhost. Bubble will have no idea where this file has. So what we have to do is we have to upload this style.css file in Bubble and use their Bubble link. So let's just quickly upload it inside Bubble editor itself. So come to Bubble editor and go to the share tab and upload the data here. So upload so our CSS file we have to see here, style.css. I can name it style.css. I can save asset. Now if I open this, you have to add HTTPS up before the link. If we open that, you can see that our code is now here. Now we can put this CSS code here. Let add it here, our local first, inside preview.js. Let's delete it and use this element. Now locally also it will work. If I refresh it, it will work, but you see sometime it is flickering, sometime this flickering, because loading the CSS will take some time. So if I replace it, if I copy it into the Bubble editor, you can see some flicker. Element and replace the preview code just a second, I am hiding it so that we can see it better. So this is the code. Now if you have to refresh it, this bubble editor, you have to refresh it to show these things. Now let's see if it works or not. It is not working actually. So just right click it and do inspect and see if any error is there or not. No errors is there, but it is not working. The style is not getting applied. Why is that? Go to the preview. Is there anything we are doing wrong? The CSS link is correct. Yes, it is correct. So we have to debug it, that why it is not working. If I change to text to number, then it is JavaScript is finally working, but CSS is still not applied. So refresh it. You can inspect it from here, and you can open the iframe. You have this whole HTML data that we added. Here you can also verify the code here. For example, from here it is running our code. So we have this data, we have this link. So this should work fine. But open it. Okay, inside head, let's open. Okay, this should get applied. Why is not getting applied into it? Let me see the style tab. Plugin element 5323. Now this plugin element class, we are not adding it anywhere. Locally it is working because locally inside HTML element we are adding this. That is why locally it is working. But here preview function we are not adding it. We are adding the OTP input class here, but we are not adding instance.canvas class list here. So we have to add it. So instance.canvas.classList.add, and then you have to add the plugin element. Now the class, the canvas will have the class list. Now it should work. Let's just quickly replace the code. Now we have the refresh the bubble editor. Okay, now you can see that it is kind of working. If I change it to 6, then also it is working. Now if I change it to 4, and if I now gap between inputs are not working. That is number one thing. Is border radius work or not? If I make it 0, then it is showing square wave. Okay, so that means that is also work fine. And border color etc are working fine or not. If I change it to red, yeah, that is also fine. Yeah, so also the height is also not coming full way, so that is also a issue. Let's fix this one by one. Now number one thing is this height one. This is easily fixable. So basically why it is not coming, because the HTML and the body tags height is not make it as 100%. That is why. So we have to make the HTML tags and the body of this script as 100%. So if I inspect it here, if I select it, this is the iframe, this is the HTML file. Okay, so we have HTML and we have body. You can see the HTML itself is not expanded to this the whole element. So if I make it height is 100%, now you can see that HTML is coming all the way along it fill up the whole element. If I hover over it, now the body is still not hovering it the whole element. See, the darker one is not getting fooled up to it. If I enter height 100%, now it is working fine. So now if I refresh it, it will go away because these are temporary field. We have to add this data inside our editor. So So simply this is very easy thing. So after all the things, after adding the link, what we can do is we can do document dot query selector of HTML element itself, height style dot height should be 100%. Similar to the body, we can do like this way, document dot query selector body, or we can do like documented body itself. Both are exactly same. So I can do like this, documented body. Now if I do this, copy this, and if I paste this here, and if I refresh it, now you can say this is perfectly works. But one issue is that it is still flickering a lot. If I change to 4 to 6, then it flickers something somewhere around it. If I change this to number, then it firstly show the raw inputs like without the style, and then it show the style. Why it is happening? Because we are downloading this style.css, we are appending into it, so it browser takes some time to download this stuff. Now inside run mode, it will not come, this issue will not come, because the style is applied into the head element. So it will when the page is loaded, the element is already the style is already loaded. That is why the flickering will not come here. But inside Bubble editor, the preview is the style is dynamically added inside the JavaScript. That is why it is flickering a lot. And to fix it, what we have to do is basically the link that is we are adding, it has a link.onload function. For example, we can do link.onload, and this will have a function. So we can run the whole we can add the inputs after the style is added. So what the code means is, after the link will be loaded, this function will call. So link is added, link is finally downloaded by the browser, link is applied to the page. After that we'll add the inputs into the page. So then the flickering will not happen. Let's save it and just replace it. You see, we are fixing one by one issues one by one. So let's remove it, replace it. Okay, now let's see if it is the flickering issue gone or not. Okay, if I change this to text, you can see it is blinking, but it is not flickering. That raw input element is showing without style, that is not happening right now. Okay, so yeah, it is working and the flickering is not happening. This blank thing will not cause any user issues, because this is inside preview mode, and 1 or 2 second delay is not a big deal. And eventually this is Bubble limitation, not our code limitation. Now one issue is left is that the gap between inputs is not working. Why is that? So whenever you add the dynamic data, so if I add 8 here directly, this will work. Okay, if I add 16, this will work, because when we do 8 or 16 or something like that, it knows that what is the value of the gap. But if we use dynamic data, let's say what I do, input columns gets value, so this is a dynamic value. So at that time Bubble get confused, and in edit mode Bubble cannot calculate this value. That is why Bubble send this value as a null. If we want to verify it, we can verify it. You can come here, and inside first we can run console.log properties, and then we can come here and refresh it, then and open your inspect element. Now you can see that what is the values of properties. it has some other logs as well, but let's see. Okay, sorry, I added the inside the update method, so you have to make sure that we are adding inside the preview elements or not. It is taking some time, so let's just wait. Inside network tab, if you disable the disable cache, then it will not load the whole, it will not fetch the whole data, so that is why the page will load faster. So that is a quick tip. Why it is taking some longer time? Let's just wait for it. And so between that, wherever page the page is loaded or not, so between that, let's discuss that how we can solve this problem, because we almost fixed all of the issues. Now we have to just fix this one thing, that is if we put the dynamic data, then it is not working. So to fix this, what we can do it, we can add default value here. So if it is null, then we can push a default value. For example, if properties.columnGap is null, so how we can do that? We have seen you that how we can add ternary operator. So one way is that you can do if column gap is equal to null, that means it is a dynamic data, then we can put, let's say, 8. Otherwise it will be properties.columnGap. So how this will read: if properties.columnGap is null, that is if it is dynamic, then use the default value of 8 pixel, otherwise use the column gap itself. That is why if we put this, then the error will not come, because now whenever we put dynamic data, then it will take 8 pixel. If it is not dynamic data, then it will take the column gap input as well. Okay, so we don't need this inside update, because update will properly calculate the column gap inside the page, but because this is will be run inside edit mode, that is why column gap actual value will not be calculated. So one way is that you can use this long expression, and another shortcut is there. So if we don't want to do this long input, then we can do like double question mark and then put the default value here. So this is called Nani's coalescing inside JavaScript. This is operator. This tells if this value is null, then take this value. So this is a shortcut. So let's quickly add the default value for all of this. So this is 1, border radius is 8. For border color, what we have E6, E6, E6. So let's paste it here. For BG color we have FFF, FFF. So similarly you can add for the other element as well. I'm just adding this, to just copy it. Okay, now it is loaded, but I think some bug are there, that is why it is not look. But because this is loaded, now we can see the console. So okay, some error is there. I don't know, this is maybe from Bubble itself. Okay, there's the object that we printed out. So see, all the values are there, but inside column gap the value is null, because we are using dynamic data. So this is dynamic data, that is why it is going 8. So we have to use default values. So I added default values for some. This is update function, this is preview function. So let add it here. Okay, now let's refresh this. I don't know why it is taking time today, because I guess my internet is correctly working. Let's see, let's wait. It is working. See, column gap is taking the default value of 8 pixel. Now if I write 10, then it will also work. It will increasing the gap. If I add 20, then also okay. Wait a second. Wait, I have to put 20 and then click outside. It is now okay. Now it is working just fine. If I add 4, now this is also fine. All the data, all the correct, all the field, you can check it. It will work just fine. It is taking some time to load because maybe due to bubble or my internet issue, but at least it works. You can test it and just make sure that you add the default values for all this data that we are setting here. I am not doing this because this is just a I already show you how you can add this. Okay, so now let's finish this video, and I am finishing this basically the whole series of building a plugin, because this is last video of this series, but we'll make more plugins in next videos onwards. So please subscribe this video if you find this videos useful, and if you're Bubble agency owners and you want to have a custom Bubble developer, then you can hire me. Links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Just one more thing before finishing the video, that how we can publish the plugin, because that is the point I missed in this video. So let me show you. So basically this is the public name, so that is showing in the Bubble marketplace. So if you can show the plugin page, I guess my plugin, and if I click on it and show you one of my published plugin. So basically you have to come here, you have to add the name of the plugin, you have to add a public logo, you can add the description, the service URL, the instruction of how the people can download, install the plugin and use it, then a demo page. So that is recommended for publishing your application. You have to add a plugin categories, then come into the settings page. Now you have to set a distribution license. There are 3 plan. One is private plugin, that is you don't want to publish to the Bubble marketplace, you only want to use in your private projects. Second is open source MIT, that is what I'm using. So that is basically a free plugin. And another one is commercial plugin. So if you want to earn from your plugin, then you have to make it as a commercial plugin, and you have to add your charges. And then when all the things are done, you have to submit a new revision. You can add the data here and you can submit it. When you submit it, then it might go to the Bubble developer, Bubble their internal team to review your plugin, and they will approve. Once they approve, it will directly launch it. But for free plugins, I think it automatically published it. So for some reason, I don't know, but it you may need to wait for some days, or it can happen immediately. So that's how you can publish your plugin to Bubble marketplace. So that is one thing that I missed in this video, that I now tell you. Okay, so thank you again. Bye bye.